Kara and Guillermo reunite, then it all falls apart. 90 Day, the last resort. What happens when two people who once believed they were soulmates finally come face to face after months of pain, silence, and unanswered questions? For Kara and Guillermo, this reunion wasn't supposed to happen. But when producers of 90 Day, The Last Resort brought them together one last time, everyone hoped for healing. Instead, what started as an emotional reunion quickly became the beginning of another heartbreaking disaster. Stay with us until the end, because this story takes a shocking turn that nobody expected. The morning sun slowly rose over the luxury couple's retreat. Beautiful scenery, peaceful music, and smiling staff welcomed every couple arriving for one final chance to save their relationships. But behind the beautiful resort walls, there were broken hearts, unfinished conversations, and years of emotional baggage waiting to explode. When Kara stepped out of the black SUV, she paused before taking her first step. She took a deep breath. Her eyes slowly scanned the property. She wasn't nervous because of the cameras. She wasn't worried about the counselors. She was worried about only one person: Guillermo. Months had passed since they had truly spoken. Every conversation ended in frustration. Every disagreement pushed them farther apart. Friends believed the marriage was already over. Fans online had spent months debating who was really responsible. Some blamed Kara, others defended Guillermo, but today, neither social media, nor family, nor friends could protect them from finally facing each other. Inside the resort lobby, Guillermo quietly waited. Unlike his confident appearance from years ago, today he looked exhausted. His smile had disappeared. Dark circles surrounded his eyes. Even though he tried to stay calm, anyone could see the emotional weight he was carrying. One producer quietly walked over. "Are you ready?" Guillermo forced a weak smile. "I don't know if anyone can really be ready for this." He looked toward the entrance. His heart was racing. For a brief moment, he remembered happier days. The day they first met, the excitement of planning their future, their wedding, the dreams they shared about building a family together. Back then, everything felt possible. But somewhere along the journey, those dreams slowly disappeared. Then, the lobby doors opened. Kara walked inside. Everything became silent. Even the production crew stopped moving. Neither of them spoke. Neither of them smiled. For several long seconds, they simply stared at each other. Years of love, pain, regret, disappointment, all passed between them without a single word. Finally, Guillermo broke the silence. "You look different." Kara smiled politely. "So do you." It wasn't the emotional reunion anyone imagined. There was no dramatic hug, no tears, no running into each other's arms, only two people trying to hide how much they had changed. The relationship counselor greeted both of them warmly. "I'm happy you both came. This retreat only works if both of you are willing to be completely honest." They nodded, but honesty would soon become their biggest problem. As they walked toward their private villa, the silence became uncomfortable. Finally, Kara spoke. "I didn't expect this to feel so strange." Guillermo quietly replied, "Maybe because we're strangers now." That sentence hit Kara harder than she expected. She looked away, trying not to show emotion, but deep inside, she knew he wasn't entirely wrong. Later that afternoon, the couples gathered for the first therapy session. Every couple shared why they had come. Some admitted trust issues, others talked about communication problems. Then it became Kara and Guillermo's turn. The therapist asked one simple question: "What is the biggest thing standing between you today?" Without hesitation, Guillermo answered, "I don't think she ever truly listened to me." The room immediately became silent. Kara looked shocked. "I listened." "No," Guillermo interrupted. "You heard me, but you never understood me." His voice remained calm, but every word carried years of disappointment. Kara slowly shook her head. "That's not fair. I spent years trying to support us." Guillermo nodded. "I know, but somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like your husband. I started feeling like another responsibility." The therapist carefully observed both of them. Neither person seemed angry. Instead, they looked heartbroken. Sometimes, silence hurts far more than shouting. As the session continued, old memories began resurfacing. Arguments about money, career choices, family expectations, communication, trust. Every unresolved issue slowly returned. The reunion that everyone hoped would heal their marriage was already exposing wounds that had never truly healed, and this was only the first day. That evening, the producers organized a romantic dinner for every couple. Soft candlelight reflected across the pool. Beautiful music played in the background. For a brief moment, it almost felt like the beginning of a love story. But appearances can be deceiving. As Kara looked across the table, she quietly asked, "Do you think we still have a chance?" Guillermo didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stared into the candle flame, then softly whispered, "I honestly don't know anymore." Those 6 words changed everything, because from that moment on, their reunion stopped being about saving a marriage and became about discovering whether there was anything left to save. The first night at the resort ended in complete silence. While the other couples laughed around the fire pit, Kara and Guillermo walked back to their villa without saying a single word. Sometimes, silence is louder than shouting. Neither of them wanted another argument, but neither of them knew how to stop one from happening. The next morning began with an exercise designed by the relationship experts. Each partner had to write 3 things they appreciated about the other, and 3 things that had hurt them the most. It sounded simple, but for Kara and Guillermo, it quickly became one of the hardest moments of the retreat. When it was Guillermo's turn to read his letter, he held the paper tightly in his hands. His voice trembled. "I appreciate that you always wanted the best for our future. I appreciate how hard you worked. And I'll never forget how happy you made me when we first met." Kara smiled softly. For the first time since arriving, there was hope. But then, Guillermo unfolded the second page. "And now, the things that broke me." The room became completely quiet. "I felt like my opinions didn't matter. I felt judged every time I made a mistake. And eventually, I stopped feeling like your partner. I felt like I was just trying to keep you happy." Those words hit Kara like a truck. She stared at the floor, trying to hold back tears. When it became Kara's turn, she slowly looked toward Guillermo. "I never wanted you to feel that way." She paused. "But I also carried a weight you never saw. I felt like I had to solve every problem. I felt responsible for everything. And sometimes, I felt completely alone." Guillermo frowned. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I tried. You were already shutting down." The therapist gently interrupted. "This isn't about deciding who's right. It's about understanding why both of you ended up feeling alone." While standing beside each other, the conversation grew more emotional. Both admitted they had stopped talking honestly months before. Instead of solving problems, they avoided them. Instead of asking questions, they made assumptions. And those assumptions slowly built walls between them. One expert explained, "Relationships rarely end because of one big moment. They usually fall apart because of hundreds of small moments that were never repaired." Both nodded, because deep down, they knew it was true. That afternoon, every couple was given free time. Most spent it together, but Kara chose to walk alone through the gardens. She needed space. Meanwhile, Guillermo sat by the lake, looking at old photos on his phone. Pictures from happier days, their wedding, vacations, birthday celebrations, simple moments that once meant everything. One producer quietly asked, "Do you miss that version of your relationship?" Guillermo sighed. "Every single day. But I don't know if we can ever get back there." Later that evening, the producers arranged a special dinner for every couple. Each table held one sealed envelope. Inside, a question they had never discussed honestly. When Kara opened theirs, her smile instantly disappeared. The card read, "What is the biggest secret you've been afraid to tell your partner?" She looked at Guillermo. He looked back. Neither moved. Finally, Guillermo spoke first. "I've been afraid to tell you that I wasn't sure I wanted to keep fighting anymore." Kara's eyes widened. "You were ready to give up?" "I didn't want to. But I was exhausted." Those words left Kara speechless. For months, she believed they were both still trying. Now, she realized Guillermo had nearly walked away emotionally long before arriving at the resort. Kara took a deep breath. "There's something I've never admitted either." Guillermo slowly looked up. "I've spent so much time trying to control everything because I was terrified of losing us. I thought if I planned every detail, if I kept everything together, we'd survive. Instead, it pushed you farther away." Guillermo didn't interrupt. For the first time, he truly listened. just when it seemed the conversation might finally heal old wounds. Another couple walked past their table. One careless comment changed everything. "So, are you two actually getting back together?" The question hung in the air. Kara immediately answered, "I hope so," but Guillermo hesitated. Just for a second. It wasn't what he said, it was what he didn't say. For Kara and Guillermo, this reunion wasn't supposed to happen. But when producers of 90